Welcome students. We are going to study a paper that is Classical Taxonomy and Phylogeny, a topic from Unit 3 that is Origin and Evolution of Angiosperm, and the module is General Account of Origin of Angiosperm with special reference to Nittalian theory. I am Shriveni Tari from PSS RSN College of Arts and Science. Outline of this module includes characteristics of the Nitopsida, objections and support to the theory, fossil record that is Archaeostobilus cupulanthus, similarities and differences between the angiosperm and the nitopsids. Learning outcomes explains the origin of angiosperms with respect to the Nittalian theory, compares the characters of the nitopsida with the angiosperms. Now let us study the Nittalian theory that is being put forth to study the origin and the evolution of angiosperm. This theory was first proposed by Whetstone in 1907, and according to theory, it is postulated that angiosperms were derived from the nitopsida, where we have the major members as Welwitschia, Ephedra, and Netum. The group shows more angiosperm characteristics than any other group of living or fossil gymnosperms. So this nitopsida, which includes Welwitschia, Ephedra and Netum, they are the advanced members of gymnosperms. They are known to have given rise to the angiosperm according to the Nittalian theory that is being put forth by Whetstone. Here we can see the pictures of the three principal members of the nitopsida, that is Netum, Welwitschia and Ephedra with their reproductive structure. In the Netum, we can see a prominent stobilus. In the Welwitschia, they are the female cones, and the Ephedra is showing the presence of the male cones. Now let us understand the characteristics which are being shown by nitopsida, and they are common to that of the angiosperms. That's why they are being considered as the ancestors of angiosperm. The first is the presence of vessels. Now, vessels are considered as the characteristic features of angiosperm. Nitopsida also shows the presence of the vessels. The second is the presence of dicot leaves showing the reticulate venation that is seen in the case of Netum. Then we have the male flowers that shows the presence of the perianth and the bracts. Then there is a strong gametophytic reduction as is seen in the case of angiosperm. Then the last is the fusion of second male nuclei with the ventral canal nucleus, that is resembling the double fertilization event in the case of angiosperm, where the male gamete fuses with the female gamete to form the zygote, and second male gamete will be fusing with the polar nucleus to give us the diploid endosperm. So the events are more or less similar. Then the ephedra is resembling with the habit of casuarina. In the picture, both the plants can be seen. The first one is the ephedra that is showing the male cones, and the second picture is showing the casuarina habit having the presence of the fruit. So they resemble in their habit. Then Whetstone homologized compound stabili of netails homologous to wind-pollinated Amantiferi. Now, Amantiferi is an angiospermic plant. Regarding insect-pollinated flower of Magnolia as Pseudanthia, derived by aggregation of unisexual units, the carpel thus representing a modified branch, that is Stachiosporous carpel origin of carpel. Now, let us understand what are the objections that are being put forth. A number of features, however, refute, though we have studied the similarities between the nitopsida and the angiosperms. First is different origin of vessels. Now, though angiosperms as well as the nitopsids shows the presence of vessel, the origin differs. In the case of angiosperms, the vessels are with the tracheids having these scalariform pitings, and in the case of nitopsids, the tracheids are giving rise to the vessels and having the presence of the circular pitings. Second, there are several living angiosperms which are vesselless. So we cannot just consider vessels to be the character for similarities. Then the Amantiferi group, that is homologized with the strobilus, is now being considered as advanced due to reduction in floral structure. So you cannot say that the Amantifera is primitive. Then we have the tricolpate pollen grain that is also representing the advanced condition. And Nitopsida is a very young group. So that's why there are objections that are being faced for the theory. However, this theory is strongly supported by some of the authors. We have Young. He challenged the view that the angiosperms were vessel-less and assumed that the vessels were lost in several early lines. Secondly, Muhammad and Sattler, they also supported this theory and found that the scalariform perforations in vessel elements of Netum, suggesting that the angiosperms may be derived from netails after all. The basal group of angiosperms, according to this theory, included Amantiferous hamellid orders, Casurinales, Fagales, Myrcales, and Juglundales. Whetstone also included Chloranthacea and Piperaceae in the basal group, which have been inviting attention in recent years. Now, let us study the fossil record that is supporting this particular theory. The importance of nitopsids in angiosperm phylogeny has been further strengthened by the discovery of Welwitschia-like fossil described by Cornett 1996 as Archaeostrobilus cupulanthus from the late Triassic of Texas. Here is the fossil, that is Archaeostrobilus cupulanthus. The plant had similarly constructed male and the female spikes, each possessing hundreds of spirally arranged macrocupules. Male spikes were borne in clusters of 3, whereas female spikes occurred singly. Here we can see the picture of Archaeostrobilus cupulanthus that is showing the reproductive structure as well as the fossil record. Now let us study the characters of the male structure. Each male macrocupule contained filament-like appendages instead of sterile scaled within. Outside the macrocupule was crowded with numerous bivalve microsporophyll, each with 4 pollen sacs attached to an inflated stalk. The pollen grains are radially symmetrical and monosulcate. Then we have the female structure characters. Each female macrocupule had an axillary curled bract-like organ with a narrow shaft and expanded funnel-shaped apex. The macrocupule contained an ovule that was transforming into seed that was surrounded by sterile scales. 3 to 4 very small bracts were present, attached near and surrounding the macrocupule. On the outside of female macrocupule were present gland-like structures resembling the stalks bearing pollen sacs on the male macrocupule. This suggests origin from a bisexual macrocupule. Ephedra is generally considered to be the most primitive of the 3 living genera of the nitopsids. Cornett believes that Archaeostrobilus possessed characters that may be plesiomorphic even for Ephedra, such as radial symmetry of floral parts which are spirally arranged and not opposite. He believed that the Benititales, Netails, Pentoxylales and Angiosperms had common ancestry sometimes before late Triassic. Netails are relatives of Angiosperms and Benititales that underwent drastic floral reduction and aggregation in response to wind pollination. Now, let us discuss the similarities and differences between the angiosperms and the nitopsids. First are the similarities. Angiosperms as well as the nitopsids shows the presence of the vessels. Also, they show the reticulate venation. The male flowers are with perianth and leaf-like bracts. Unisexual inflorescence is shown in nitopsids like the one in Amantifera. Then there is strong gametophyte reduction. Then there is fusion of second male gamete with the ventral canal nucleus, that is resembling the double fertilization event in angiosperms. Now coming to the differences. Though both shows the presence of the vessels, but the origin of the vessels are different. In the case of angiosperm, they are arising from scalariform pitting, whereas in the case of nitopsids, they are arising from the circular pittings. So there are similarities as well as differences, and we have already seen that there are some of the authors who are supporting the theory saying that the nitopsids have given rise to the angiosperm. However, there are some objections which are also being put forth which says that nitopsids are not giving rise to that of the angiosperms. These are some of the online and the offline references for your further reading. Thank you.